Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you learn how to reach more people online, build influence, and attract ideal clients. And we're going to talk about a little bit of all three today because we're talking about what are you saying online and how are you showing up online right now in this very, very weird time that we're going through. And we're going to keep it non-political, so we're not going that way with it. I want to talk with Greg more about mindset because Greg, you're in the co-pilot seat where you so belong, and you just restarted Mindset with McDaniel's, kind of your morning Facebook Live series that you were doing for a while back in the day. And now you've restarted that. So let's just start there. We know all the stuff about what's weird going on right now, and you can have your own political opinions on everything. But we're recording this in July of 2020. We know what's up. The question is, how do you show up online and not end up just getting into a political argument with people? Right. So what can you talk about? So Greg, what was the motivation behind restarting the Mindset Facebook Lives?
Well, it's mornings with McDaniel, but you're good. They have an M, so I'll give you a hard pass on that.
I thought you said Mindset with McDaniel, but anyway.
No, it's mornings with McDaniel.
Oh, okay. Morning Mindset Motivation with Greg McDaniel, the master.
That's a lot of M's. But so here's the thing. Back when I was doing it, I think it was about 2 years ago. It worked so well, I quit doing it, which I gotta stop doing. But it also took a lot of energy out because I was doing it 5 days a week, and it was like almost an hour, yada yada. But I started thinking about this. Everyone's in a weird mindset right now, and because they're all out of sorts. I mean, older agents are learning how to use video conferencing, which they never would have done. Most people are working from home, working from parks. It's just not. We're not going to the office, getting our coffee, having our chit chat with Steve and Bob over at about useless bullshit, and then going back to work. Right. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, if we're all struggling, that means I'm struggling, which means I have my things I'm working on. I said, okay, well, you know what? Why don't I do this? Why don't I get something on Pinterest that resonates with me, a little list of something that's kind of mind-provoking, and, use this as a vlog, a daily video journal, and just talk about what's bothering me, what's encouraging me, how my life is going, and being very honest, very transparent. Look, nobody cares if you're working from your living room. Nobody cares you got screaming kids. Nobody cares if your cat tail walks across the screen. Mm-hmm. We're all in this same transition together. Mm-hmm. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to start bringing some light and joy, and transparency, and being authentic, to the world. Because I think we're all trying to, and this is what I've been seeing, we're all trying to hold on to remnants of what we used to be, our offices that we used to be a part of, all this stuff. Because, a lot of us, we're straight up newscasters, business on top, party on the bottom, because you don't need to wear a full suit if you're going to be in your office doing video calls. Right. And you can be more casual. And I see a transition to being more casual. And people are okay with it because they're having to do the exact same thing, right? So I'm basically just out there talking about kind of just what I'm going through, how I'm dealing, my success stories, how I got my butt kicked in some of them. Here's some inspirational thing I ran into. Here's a book that I'm reading. I started a book club with my lender, talking about different books we're reading every single Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. on my Facebook. Just being more human, being more real. So that's my goal behind it. Because when I was doing Mornings with McDaniel, I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people watching every single one of these things, even thousands at times. And I had people I didn't even know were watching my videos, and then say, Greg, I needed to hear that today. Thank you for doing that. And I'm like, So,
yeah.
Well,
it's a good thing. The mask is finally off because now we know, Greg, that you're a terrible, terrible racist. So it's about time. Now we know. Now we know. Yeah. Well, we're in an interesting time where there felt like a good couple of months there where you couldn't post anything positive. You couldn't even attempt to bring good news. That was attacked. The idea that there was any good news to find was under attack for a while, which is really interesting. I think we've come out of that a little bit, and people are weary and they're looking for some good news. John Krasinski actually has a kind of a YouTube series called Good News. And,
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's getting some traction, which is good, because it was a very weird time when you literally couldn't be optimistic. If this wasn't the end of the world, you were a terrible person. So I think we've left that phase. But in terms of mindset, one of my guys said something interesting. We've been working together behind the scenes on some marketing stuff, and he takes the sales calls for the agency. And he just said, look, man, he's like, I think we're all in a low grade depression.
Mhm.
It's like whether you agree with, like whether you are aligned politically or not, whether you disagree with things that are happening, whether you agree with what they're happening, either way, you end up in this low grade depression. And I think he's right about that. And so anything that you can do, I think you can show up now and bring some good news, especially if it's not on the political stuff. Now, I think there is, I think there's people that can do that. And if you want to step into that arena, that's fine. But there is some room to bring good news. So locally, that you can keep track of good news in the community, things that are going on that are opening back up, people that are making a contribution, like maybe go out and grab your phone, go interview some people that are making a difference in the community. There's different things you can do now that you couldn't do a couple of months ago to shine a spotlight on some good news and bring some light and bring some positivity. And thank God, because for a couple months there, it seemed like if you weren't outraged, depressed, and angry all at the same time simultaneously for all of your waking hours, you were a tolerable person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why.
The anger sharks were swimming so hard with everybody. I think people were so ticked off at having their life completely being dislodged, from their known reality. I mean, I was definitely pissed off. I was fucking furious because of a trip that I'd wanted to do my entire life, that we're going to do ultra luxury travel with my beautiful girlfriend. We planned for like 6 months, man, down to the hour, what we were going to do, where we're going to stay, what we're going to eat. Got just obliterated with one. Oh, no, you can't go. Everything canceled. Goodbye 2020, dumpster fire. Here we come. And so I got mad. I started drinking too much. I was sleeping in. Fuck, dude. There's a week there that I just slept the whole week. I just said,
Yeah.
Fuck you, world. I was in an absolute low grade, depression, because I was furious at the fact that something came along and took away everything that I wanted. And I believe everybody went through that. I was with my girlfriend last night at one of her best friend's house, and he and his wife were telling us that they were going to go to Israel to visit her family, so that that family can meet the wife's family and meet the grandbabies they've never met. And they planned all these people coming in from around the world. So I think everybody was, maybe still is, in some sort of a depression or low grade. But I think we're coming out of it a little. I think we're starting to find the light and the joy. And I think that's why I want to do this, because I'm feeling a little bit more light, a little bit more joy, and a little more hope.
Yeah. So let's share a couple of things that have helped us. And then we'll keep this episode short. So no, besides the obvious things, besides more cookies.
Cookies and booze. All right, guys, there it is.
Yeah, exactly. No, so a couple of things that have helped. Number one, getting out for regular walks. That's made a big difference. I think what I've tried to do, and you may not agree with this, but I've tried to maintain a sense of normalcy as much as I could. So, for example, right, like I used to work from Starbucks once, sometimes twice a day, and that was some of my most productive time. I mean, most of the Micro Famous book was written in a particular Starbucks in Pacific Beach. So what I did, and it took me a little while to get around to this because I was hoping things would open up quicker, but when it became obvious that they weren't, or that we might go through rolling shutdowns for the rest of this dumpster fire of a year, I decided, okay, well, let's try to replicate the feeling of that productive space here at home. So I bought a particular kind of table and chairs that replicate what I was used to at Starbucks. And it's mobile, so I can take it from inside on my patio to back, or outside on the patio to inside into my dining room area. It's also going to double as maybe a YouTube recording area. It's just a great space. Like, it's perfectly positioned. The height is perfect. Everything is super stable. The chairs are super comfortable, right? So I did my research to figure out, okay, how can I take and reproduce that super productive space that I used to leave the house for? And how can I create some new space within my existing place that I only use for work, right? So I don't sit there, for the most part, I don't sit there at that table and do anything but work. Like everywhere else, your bed, the desk that doubles as my recording console, you know what I'm saying? Like everywhere else in your place, especially if you're single, like you don't have a big place. You don't have a dedicated office per se. Like my entire place is my podcasting/music studio. But it's not necessarily always the most productive place for just solo, get down to it and crank out a bunch of work. So that really helped creating a new space. So walks, creating a normal sense of routine, and then creating a productive space, like a new productive space in my my living situation that replicated what I used to have at Starbucks. So there's my 3.
Interesting. I like that a lot. I will second you on the exercise. Since the gym shut down again, that really pissed me off because I really enjoyed going to the gym. I really enjoyed, that was a part of my day, part of my routine. And so I adapted. And what does that mean? It means that I go for, like this morning, I went for a 4-mile run. I'm getting stronger and stronger every single day that I'm running. I'm pushing myself more and more. Did 4 miles and 75 push-ups. And so that for me is getting the blood pumping, getting me out, working out, doing something to keep my core, strength. I'm not pumping iron that much because there's nothing to pump.
I know.
But I'm with you on that one. Like for normalcy, I'm a real big go outer now. I go out to Safeway every day to get food, and I literally do it just to go see people. I'm like, people, hello.
Yeah.
And it's some of the times like for my dedicated workspace is this right here. This was my dining room, but this has been my office since I moved in 2 years ago, and I'm trying to shoot more and more video out and about with my gimbal, my DJI gimbal. I'm trying to be out there. And so for me, more normal, just being out and about, like going for a walk, going downtown, just kind of walking the streets, seeing what's going on. Like I got a little part of me, like I came alive the other day when I saw restaurants starting to open back up. Now they might have to go shut back down again in my county, but but like a little part of me, I'm like, oh, that is fucking awesome, man. A restaurant and people are in it. Yeah.
Yes, me too.
And then just consistently consuming content. I forgot to keep reading and listening to educational podcasts, not my entertainment podcast, but educational podcasts. Cause I used to do that during the normal days. You know what kind of podcast I'm talking about?
Yes, I do know what kind of podcast you're talking about.
I got so much to say on so much stuff.
I know.
That really kind of helped me get my mind back into business, to listen to business, real estate, educational podcasts that can get my brain back moving, not depressed, not woe is me, woe is business, but then also look at everything on a flip side. So what is up is really down. Okay, this is bad. 2008 was horrible. But a lot of people made hundreds of millions, if not billions, by just looking at this at the downfall in a reverse way. So I'm like, okay, great. How can I look at this in a different way? And then I said, you know what? I'm going to reach out to agents. I'm going to see if they want to talk about coming over to EXP. We're all working virtually. Look at the value add. Look at the educational benefits you get. Look at this. Look at that. And the conversations have gone great. Yeah, people are very open. I mean, it's very good. So yeah, so that's kind of my stuff I'm working through as well. I'd love to hear what other people have to say. Leave a comment on YouTube or on iTunes or something like that, guys. We'd love to hear what you're doing to keep
or just message Greg specifically with an account of what your evenings look like. Greg wants to know. Just PM. That's right.
Be careful. I remember what I have here. I have your telephone number on this device.
All right. Well, we'll cut it short there. So if you guys want to grab the Microfamous book, just go to microfamousbook.com. You can actually get a free copy at getmicrofamous.com/free to get the digital version. And then Greg, what's the best way to reach out and connect with you?
Guys, I have a new training program called List and Sell Like Crazy. It's $399, but use the code word McDaniel and it will be $299. We will post the link to that so you guys can download it. 10-part series, very high energy videos, lots and lots of education if you want to listen and sell like crazy. So that, and follow me on Instagram, Greg McDaniel, REU, and of course, Greg McDaniel on Facebook. So there it is,
awesome. Bud. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you listening. And thank you, by the way, for sharing the show. We appreciate everybody that does that. A lot of people have left ratings, and we really appreciate that. Just anything that you do that ends up feeding the algorithm and helps put the show in front of more people. We just wanted to say that we really, really appreciate it. We read those, we see it, and we really appreciate it. So thank you so much. We'll see you next time.